Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, friends. Let's continue with the Bill of Exchange and Promissory Notes. So, over the past two sessions, we understood what is Bill of Exchange and what is Promissory Note, basically the concepts. In today's class, we'll try to understand what are all the journal entries that needs to be processed at each stage of a Bill of Exchange. So, we saw in the earlier class, like Bill of Exchange is something which is created by the drawer, right? And whereas promissory note is something created by the creditors. So the journal entries for bill of exchange and in the books of drawer, like let's see, on receipt of bills, on a party which receives a promissory note receives an accepted bill of exchange, and it will treat it as a new asset under the name of bills receivable, right? So when a person is accepting a bill of exchange, like I am the drawer and I am raising it on somebody, and when that somebody accepts that bill of exchange, it becomes a receivable in my books because I have to get money from that person because the person has accepted the bills. So I have to get money from that book, from the so the receivable accounts, like when the bills are accepted and on receipt of bill, bills are accepted and on receipt of bill, so it becomes an receivable in my books because I have raised a bill and somebody has accepted that bill. So and have after acceptance I have received it also. Now what will happen is, sorry about the background sound. So some bike is traveling. So what will happen is it's a bills receivable account debit, and the person from whom I have to get the money, the person who has accepted the bill, has to be credited, like the acceptor account, acceptor or drawee account. In case of a promissory note, it will be the maker because promissory note is made by the creditor. So maker of the note, credit, right? So the first one is the bills has to be treated as an receivable because it is receivable. I have raised the bill and somebody has accepted the bill and I have to get that money after the due date. So it becomes a receivable in my books. So the receivable account debit and credit will go to the drawee, and credit will go to the drawee account. Now A accepts the bill of exchange drawn on him by B, and the entry in the books of B will be like bills receivable account debit to A. Because let's say in this case, like I have raised a bill of exchange and the other party has accepted it. So in my books, what we'll do is bills receivable account debit to the person who has to pay me money. Let's say in this case A, to A account, right? And uh, the person who is receiving the bill has got multiple options, right? In this case, I have received the bill after acceptance. I have options in front of me. Hold the bill till maturity, and get the money. That's the first option. Then if I am going to hold the bill till maturity, at the time of maturity, what will happen is cash account debit. If I'm getting the money by cash, or bank account debit to bills receivable account, credit, because that is a straightforward transactions where I get the money and then close the receivable account, right? Suppose if the bill is endorsed, we saw that bill of exchange can be endorsed, right? Bill is endorsed in the name of let's say C. The same bill is endorsed in the name of C. Then the receipt should be done by C, and I'm getting the money because the moment I endorse the bill in somebody's name, I get the money, and the liability passes on to the other on the receipt. Till the date of maturity, the bill passes on to C, who has to get it claimed from the drawee. Right? So I have raised a bill and somebody has accepted. I have endorsed in the name of another person. So the other person will have to get the money from the acceptor of the bill. So what will happen? Because I have got the money and have endorsed it in somebody's name. I'll say that C account debit to bills receivable account credit. The acceptance passes on to the other person who has to hold the bill, till maturity, and then get the money from the drawee, right? Now, the bill of exchange can be discounted at the bank also. Like I can transfer it to other person, I can endorse it in the name of other person, and the other person will get the money and close it. But the bills can be discounted at the bank as well. Bills can be discounted at the bank. What is bill discounting? So I require the money immediately. I got a bill of exchange which has been accepted by the creditor. I got the bill of exchange now, but I require the money immediately. I cannot wait till the maturity date. So what I will do is I will go to the bank and discount the bills to the bank for a nominal fee. Suppose I have to get say 10,000 rupees and is the amount that is due on the bills. I'll go and tell the bank like I want to discount these bills and require money immediately. So bank will take a nominal charge and then transfer the balance amount to me, and the bank will submit the bills to the acceptor at the due date. So what will happen is, because I'm getting the money, bank account debit, and because the bank is discounting the bills, and then they will take some charges or discount charges account debit to bills receivables account. So I get the money after discounting, and the bank has taken discounting charges, which is an expense in my books, and then I'll credit the bills receivable account. I have got the money and closed it. So now on the date of maturity, there are multiple options again. Now the bills is one is I can hold the bill till maturity, or second is I can transfer the bill to somebody and endorse it in the name of somebody. A third option is I can discount the bills with the banker, right? So in the case of till maturity, there is no transactions. I get the money, I debit cash or bank on the date of maturity, debit cash or bank and credit bills receivable and close it. If I endorse it in somebody's name, debit that person on whom I am endorsing it and credit bills receivable account and close it. The third option is I discount the bills of the bank, where bank will pay the money immediately. So bank account debit and discounting charges account debit to bills receivable account credit. Now comes to maturity. Now comes maturity. So on the date of maturity, there are multiple options again available. One is the bills can be settled. So bills are settled. If the bills are settled, it is very straightforward, right? It's very straightforward. Bills are settled means cash account or bank account debit, credit, bills receivable account, and close it. So the bills are kept till maturity. So it's bank account debit and bills receivable account credit. The second possibility is the bills can be dishonored and the bills will not get paid. So the dishonored bills comes back to the person, and it if the bills are dishonored, like let's take bills, let me explain it a bit too detailed. Bills are dishonored. If I'm holding the bill onto me, then there is no change in it because the amount is still due. Bills receivable to I'll reverse the transaction that has happened on the bills receivable. Like when I say that the bills receivable account debit to A account credit, this entry will be reversed, and then A account debit bills receivable account credit. So I'm putting the liability back on A, and A has to pay the money to me, and A becomes my debtor, where I have to get the money from him. And so that is the reason I'm reversing the first entry. When the bills is accepted, I'm crediting A and debiting bills receivable, right? So when the bills is dishonored, I'm debiting A and crediting bills receivable account. What will happen if the bills discounted in the bank gets dishonored? The bank, I have to repay the bank because the bills are discounted only by me. So what will happen is bills receivable account debit to bank account credit. Why this entry is because when we bills are discounted at the bank, we have got the money from bank, and if the bill is dishonored, we have to pay the money back to the bank, and the money should be without discount. This should be at the gross value of the bills because this charges it's bank charges. So bills receivable account debit to bank account credit. The entire bill value has to be paid to the bank. And then we have to get the money from the person who has accepted the bills, right? That is a separate transactions again. There this account will come in. First entry is if the discounted bills dishonored. First entry will be bills receivable account debit to bank, and second entry will be A account debit to bills receivable account credit. Because we have to still get the money back from A. That is the reason it should be debited to A and credited to bills receivable account. Right? In the case of promissory note, also same logic, because there's no change whether it is bill of exchange or a promissory note. So first transaction is once the bill is raised and it is accepted by the drawee, then debit bills receivable and credit drawee or maker of the bill account, maker of the note account. And till at the time of maturity, debit bank and credit bills receivable and close the transaction. The bills can be endorsed in the name of other person, then the endorser account debit to bills receivable account is the first entry. And the bills can be discounted. Once the bills are discounted, we get the money immediately from bank. So bank account debit, bank charges or discounting charges account debit to bills receivable account. If the bills are dishonored, then bills receivable account debit, credit bank, and then another entry is debiting the acceptor of the bill and crediting bills receivable account. Right? So this sequence of entries has to be processed at the time of maturity. If there is no issues, bills are settled, just debit bank and bank or cash and credit bills receivable. In the case of dishonor, reverse the bills receivable discount entry and bills receivable discounted with bank entry, and then transfer the bills to the acceptor account. Hope this is clear, right? So just go through this one more time and come back to me for any queries or clarification, because this is all set of very simple journal entries what has to be processed, and the conceptual understanding is more important for us to proceed further. So you can always write to me at babupriya@rediffmail.com for any doubts or clarifications or queries, and you can send an email or you can send a comments to this video also. I'll come back to you soon. Thank you, friends, and have a great and wonderful day.